Hello and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4, Death or Dishonor. Something a little bit different. Yeah. Ever so slightly. Gonna have a go with one of the updated nations. Gonna have a little play with Romania. Each of the four have an interesting selection of new focus bits and pieces, as they've all gotten their own full trees now, rather than the generics they previously had. Having had a bit of a look through, we're not going to go for like a full world conquest unless it goes really, really, really well. It's unlikely. I haven't played for a little while, so the likelihood of being able to start with a small nation and beat up world powers is quite slim. Set up basic research already, and then next thing I need to do is choose what we're going to be doing. Now, the only other thing I want to try and do is stick to a more focus-related aggressive policy. Not try and flip ideology and just justify and sort of chew up some people early on, as you can do some silly things with that possibility. So we make it a bit more difficult for ourselves there. However, there is a selection of things Romania can do with eating up or controlling their neighbours, so I think we'll have a bit of a look into this one over here. So what should we start with? We can do that, just get a bunch of political power off the bat, and let's us start looking into joining factions. Don't necessarily want to join factions straight up. This could be useful, partially for the extra bits underneath. We want to go for Hungary, I would say, relatively quickly, or the event for Hungary relatively quickly, as Mr. Germany will eventually get a hold of them one way or another and be friends with them. And so we'd like that to be concluded prior, along with snapping up or doing these other little bits early. However, they do require us to quite significantly boost our armed forces to 4, 5 and 750,000 people before even being able to consider some of that. Also, there's a couple of nice little bits in here which could be useful. The Sentinel of the Motherland Spirit seems to be quite nice from that one, and then that one here. Ignore all of this bit and stay as a relatively non-aligned faction. However, that one there, being able to do this does, and getting the second boost to that spirit does require this working. So we shall see on that. If not, we'll just, I don't know, chew them up or something. And that one, we shall see. We've got a couple of big nasty people near us, so what shall we go for? So obviously also there's all the army and navy and air force bits to consider. There's the boosting our factory, industrial bits down the middle there, which has some nice useful sections like extra steel, extra oil. Want the research slots, but some of this is a bit more time dependent, as others will either attack or otherwise align in their own manner the other nations surrounding us which you want to play with. So, and that's sort of the general idea, is we're aiming for a sort of not Austro-Hungarian Empire, this sort of area of the world, be the big dog there sort of thing, at least to start with, while I remember how to play, as it has been a little while. So, what one first. We need to grab that to be able to do some of these bits. So fortify, not too fussed about initially. This one has some uses. Political power is always useful. So exactly how many men do we have out and about? Can't remember. Where are you hiding? I'm blind. I can remember it is here. It's somewhere. I just can't remember exactly where. There we are. Manpower in the field. So we need to up that by something like 150,000, which means we need more eligible people to be able to put out into the field, which also means that one's not too much of a concern straight up. So maybe we go for these two, as we need the manpower to even think about putting people in the field. So we'll grab this one to start with then. What else do we want to do? Do we have anything that's affecting our production? No. So what's our infrastructure like? Quite low. That's... Consider possibly building some of that up, as it now increases the production speed of certain factory types. How many of these? 13. It's going to be a little while so we actually get into much of a conflict or a situation where we're going to need the military. So it's, or more specifically, being able to acquire some more civilians. So it might... Let's see, it's all quite small amounts, isn't it? Maybe we think we'll just go with a simple make many approach. So that one's the quickest as is. So let's boost some of this. Two of that. Let's build one of them. They don't have too much space, do we? We're going to need to work on that one. Get some of these done, boost us up a little bit. Start off like that. So we are missing a few things, really, aren't we? We do need all three: infantry, artillery, and support. So our infantry aren't too bad, the division types, but how many spares? We only have a couple spare to start with as well. Now, tank-wise, do we actually have any divisions using them? Don't appear to. Oh yes, we have one hiding somewhere. Oh yeah, there you are. So, I don't necessarily want to completely get rid of you. We'll leave you with the one factory. One for those, so I think we just go with wanting lots of infantry equipment. Leave you at something like this, I think. You are all destroyers, so we'll put you into a new fleet, maybe. We'll just get you to base there for now, into a new one. And we'll have you produce indefinitely some submarines just to utilize that. And we'll also, I think, have the other one make convoys, just sort of because, so we can have some spare in case we end up using them. Neither is really going to be too effective straight off the bat. So that is all the basics. Let's up our speed and start us off just while things settle in slightly. Let's give our guys a leader. What do we have? Oh, we're going to get the lovely king being a bit fun. He has this nice little thing here, which you'll see exactly what this makes him do, but I am expecting a few little events and bits which make our country worse because he's spending all the money or something of the sort. So someone's purchased in a really expensive house, blah blah blah, newspapers, scandal, announcement. So what do we get? So boost consumer goods factories means we build less, or lose a load of political power and have... We're going to have to go for the top one. I think we are going to need that political power. Annoyingly, we also need stuff as well, so this could prove interesting. What else we want to do is get our little planes. How big's it? So let's send them all here. Anyone to merge, or are you all? What are you? We have some fighters and some more fighters. So yeah, we'll just merge you up into a single unit. Tell you want some more, even if you don't actually have any right now. Just let you sit there. Yeah, that's all fine. So we've got a fair deficit of this stuff. That's a few years. I think they're all going to be a few years as it stands. Yeah, quite a few. However, we will slowly improve that, which will be fine. So we're not actually needing the tanks. We are replacing the old ones. Yeah, we'll go with that. Having a few spare light tanks could be useful, as we're quite light on everything else, and one factory realistically isn't going to do too much. Right, where was I? So supplies, that's useful. Combat width is useful, or probably not just yet, but it will be. You're quite useful as well, but I think we're going to go with you. Reduce supply consumption, lots of units. So I'm not too fussed about these cavalry divisions. They're a bit tap, really. But we don't really have enough equipment or manpower to switch them out, because we need to go up to like 9,500, which is over triple, to swap them out for the proper infantry divisions. And we don't have enough tanks just yet. Oh, we're going to need some more motorized production as well. That's a good point for that one. I'll put it in now so I don't forget about it. Move it up slightly so it's there, just so there is one in there and I do not forget we will need them. I think that starts out all of our initial bits. We just need to set up these guys somewhere around us. So our main interest at the moment, how long are you going to do? A little while. Our main interest at the moment is attempting to get more people out in the field, which may take a little while. We shall see how that goes. So let's up ourselves as we've got everything initially set up. What are we missing there? Fighters. Yes, we know we're missing fighters. We're well aware of that. Right, so standard starts. Everyone is on their historical national focuses, just to get a initial look at what this expansion entails for this lot of chaps. Right, so we need more people. We also could really use a better one of these, but we're going to have to wait, I think. Now we are at 5%, so that should be letting us do that. But maybe we'll give it a couple of hours, see if it ticks over, because that could be useful. So we haven't had Spain yet. Why are we quite so high? It is just the Rhineland. Unfortunately, I think that's probably going to tick under 5%, isn't it? It's going to have a day's decay on it by the time it updates and lets us do it. So it probably won't give us the option to change that one. I will still wait. I'm just going to have a quick look. So we've got construction bonuses, which could be useful. Civilian was so admittedly, but infrastructure has its use. What else do we have here? Political power. Prince of Terror. Lovely people. And then I think everything else is going to be fairly standard, isn't it? Yes, and we are going to need these, admittedly. We need more people, but this one's going to give us an extra %, which will be a fair boost to it. That'll probably take us past what we need. So I'm just going to let this tick slightly, see what you think. No, you still don't think we're... It's probably because it is more than rather than a greater or equals, so that's a shame. So, who would we like most? We do want some more infrastructure built, this is true. But is it actually... I think we'll go with that one just because it might not be the very best, but it'll do. So let's set a few little borders just to get them in places. Set up some basic plans so that yes, that's fine. That already sort of looked like it disappeared all by itself. Thank you very much. Over there, the Spanish Civil Wars started. Jolly good. Well, in relative terms, means that if it continues to go up, people send some volunteers over, we may be able to utilize that. Yeah, the cavalry ain't going to do all that much on their own, are they? Just makes them feel better. Right, let's set some unnecessary offensive plans. Just to... no, it's not that one. Just to get some planning bonuses ticking along in case of necessity. In case things are forced on us instead. Even if some of them would be rather suicidal. There we go. That's enough of that. So, we have a few more people. We just need stuff now for that. Let's grab an extra research slot then. We're going to want some of this, but we need equipment first. And we're quite a way off being able to utilize that part. So, the other option is to start going down here so we can make some stuff, which would mean we need this one. But no, I think we grab the research slot first of all. Now, as much as it doesn't give you quite as much production, we are smaller. So we are going to bounce around a little bit with what we're producing. We're going to be trying to produce the best we can research at a time, which that one will help us with. We're going to be swapping the production out more often. And in addition to that... What are you, Lotto? Oh, you're cheap. Oh, everyone's cheaper, of course. So, actually, we want this one, because I don't think we're going to get as far... as 15% just yet. It's going to be a little while, so we'll take the smaller boosts that we get from the early mobilization as much as you can. Just jump it on the mobilization set, unlike the conscription. But anyway, tank here. As I say, these aren't really proper deployments. They're just there for a little bit of planning bonus in case we get... But I don't think much of it's going to do too much. Right, what's this one? What's he done this time? It's the same pair of options, so we're going to lose a little of our production for 3 months, basically. And what's he done? A party. 7-course meal, golden plates, pissing people off because they've got no money, as we are in the 30s. And just after the Great Depression, or indeed possibly during it to a certain extent, give or take, depends, I don't know, I can't remember. So we'll pick the top one and suffer production penalties, despite the fact that we could quite use that construction and production. So, but we also need that political power to make changes and do focuses, so quite useful. Right, it's just building things quicker, that's fine. Where are we? July of 36. So you're okay there, you're okay there. Now, we don't have enough production to properly utilise you really just yet. I think we'll start this off, as we're not going to get any proper bonuses for you yet. It's going to be a little while. We're going to be focusing on other things with our political power. And take a moment to just relax. Sit back, chill. So extra research slot. Yeah, but we want this one, which means we are going to need to ping that at some point, but I'm not making forts right now, so we're going to take this so we can start down that adjacent factory set of bits and pieces. So what do we want over here? We are going to want, we don't necessarily need against the AI, but we are going to want things down this tree. But we can't make them yet either, so that's too bad. These might be quite useful to try and shoehorn in at some point, get them early, as our manpower isn't exactly going to be enormous, being the size of nation we are. So that's a pity. Just reduced the well, I say pity, it's not too bad. Reduced world tension a bit. That seems to be relatively balanced at the moment. Hasn't been too long yet, but about stands as is. That wasn't what I wanted. I wanted this. Oh, we can do something again. Now, again, we don't need that one changed just yet because we're not actually using the extra we've been getting from those focuses. We might want some of these later on, but I don't think they're going to be too useful just yet. And you stay full price. All of you stay full price, right? So what do we got? Okay. Now, I think we might want to save up for a full 151 potentially, and start putting in those research things rather than combat bonuses. I think we should do that to try and keep an eye on it. Right, how many volunteers have been sent? So yeah, you're a bit short on volunteers, aren't you? You've got 3, you've got 1 right at the moment. So I would expect you to end up losing as things stand. How far along are you lot ticking? Just wandering along. That's all fine. So yes, we can't do these things just yet. We need more men out in the field. We, at this moment in time, are missing the equipment, so let's drop the equipment bits in to start that off. How many years of equipment are we missing? 1.5 years. Effectively, that's a couple years of artillery. And good few years of support equipment as well. So I think we'll do that. The next couple can come in here. How's the construction going? I still think we do need, long term, we do need that infrastructure in there. Just boost it that little bit. Now we have another. Why do you keep doing this? So, another party. Stop with the parties. Annoying man. Right. Oh, got a couple of bits. Where are we? November of 36. So I think we shall wait a moment so we can drop a couple of these at the end of December. We'll be just fine. And then we'll pick the third up in the start of next year. Just chew down on the ahead of time slightly and pick it up on around about what, the 25th. So we've got ours. We might as well. We don't like them and they don't like us. Let's use this. I think. Ooh. So I think we continue going down this one. Get some more infrastructure. Yeah, shoot that. Get some more out of our factories. This is going to take us a little while, I think. Right, so that is, yep, 25th. So we shall start you. And we shall start you as our construction keeps getting hammered by his partying. And not all that much we can do just yet. We're working towards a few bits to be able to attempt to help that, but we need, fortunately, to be able to help with that, we need to do some of the bits with the more manpower out in the field. And to get the manpower out in the field quickly, we need to get rid of that stuff, which is currently quite irritating. So we'll start that construction now. Get that going. How's that one doing? Yeah, because you're like down to 4 factories. Maybe it would have been worth building another civilian. There's the word. Oh, yep, you've gone away again. Really good. So get rid of some of that. We'll use you in a moment. So how are you doing? 6.5. That's still a long time. Looking at realistically a year or so before most of that's usable and starting to drop extra troops out. That's going to be quite late. Or later than we would have liked, significantly. So that gives us, that's factories. It takes us down towards some of these things which are useful. So more factories and more steel, more oil, more research. So, shall we continue with those? I think we probably shall. Extra units. That seems ridiculous. 7%? Have I not read something right? So you can get a single unit, or you can get 7. Really? That seems ridiculous. I haven't seen that one. 7%. That is just 7% straight people. That definitely provides all the manpower we need. However, at this exact moment in time, it is equipment, not manpower. So we'll continue working down that side of things. Now, research could prove useful. What else do we want over here? Straight up political power, fill out some of the stuff even quicker. That could be useful. We are going to want a space for you, I think. Eventually. Straight up power or power, a small amount of power and drift. Maybe we just go with you. And try and chew out quite a few of those bits. Now, go away. See, the thing we would quite like is this one, down here. These two, which means we need this one, which means that one, which means we need people. It's the thing I was generally aiming for. Get rid of all those parties. And then also chew up neighbours. But yeah. We'll ignore that bit. We're a friendly Romania. Honest. At the moment we have to be. So, ticking along quite slowly. How are you lot doing? Are we starting to get those extra factories in? These could prove useful at some point. We don't have enough civilian, especially not civilian free, for that to be interesting just yet, but we will eventually. Hopefully. So 37. We've got a little while to that. It's going to be at all useful. Let's get that one. Radio is always helpful. Don't have any other production ones that will be all that useful. How much stuff do we actually dig out? Not huge amounts. So steel's an issue, and we might need to actually even trade for some steel. That's a concern. So we are getting more power now, so I think we're going to have to start swapping it for that. Using up the political power instead of the producing stuff for a little while. And take that approach, because we need stuff so we can actually equip people. I don't know what that event does, so we're just going to take factories. Take the guaranteed stuff. The Hindenburg blew up. Shame. So what do we have here? That's a while, that's over a year, that's getting there. might have a quick little skim. So that's support. That's a bit of everything. We had the other industry finish, or are we early 37? That's still perfectly fine. We'll drop that one as well then, I think. Get some of the passive combat boosts done. As the production for things, we just don't have enough to be able to make better equipment. That's ticking up nicely. So much are you? You're 850, 30. You also use 30, but you also use some artillery, which is also a loss. Oh, but you didn't die. Well, disappear, probably die. It's different. Right, so how's our production coming along? So we've got another couple being made. Oh. Built our extra factories. Now what do we want? Civilian, and I think we want this one. It gives us an extra couple military. Although actually no, steel. Steel would give us some better production efficiency type, what's it, my bobs, whatever it is. I know what I mean. Like this bit, this here. Oh yeah, it is efficiency. I got the right-ish word. So we need to try and fill some of that up, I think, because yeah, they have changed it so that if you are missing enough, it now just doesn't make it, rather than very slowly, which is better. As you could initially just sort of tick along and make stuff without actually having anything to make it with. It was a little silly. However, I think we shall pause for a little bit there, or at least I shall take a pause there, and I shall come back to you all in a little while.